Welcome to Jurassic Park.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while?
Do you want to know what it is?
There's no knowing where you might be swept off to.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee.
I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
There's a special rug in hell reserved for people who waste good scotch.
He peed on my rug!
He peed on the dude's rug.
Do your worst.
Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Welcome to your feature presentation. I am your host, Heath Fall. Today we are talking about top movies that went straight to streaming. And of course, we're talking about movies coming out this weekend. Today with me is Andrew McKay.
Heath, thank you for having me back. I know every week is up in the air, kind of. It's a coin toss.
Well, actually, not a lot of people know this, but you're not actually the co-host. You're my guest that is on every single episode.
Yeah. I signed a paper saying that if we ever make money off this, I don't get any of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I also make you sign an NDA between every episode.
It's true. It's true.
I actually ask a lot of people to be on, but you're the only one that says yes. So that's why. I'm joking. Of course, Andrew is my co-host. He's the reason I do this all. He's so faithful to the pod. I appreciate you, buddy.
I smacked the microphone. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you should smack that microphone.
I was gonna do the Dune like salute.
May thy knife chip and shatter.
Yeah, but anyway, we don't have to talk about Dune. It's fine.
No, it's fine, but we will. So yeah, let's talk about really quickly the movies coming out this weekend. So we've got The Exorcism and The Bike Riders.
Yes, so The Exorcism, we have Russell Crowe in an Exorcist movie, which will be very fun. Troubled actor begins to exhibit a disruptive behavior while shooting a horror film. His estranged daughter wonders if he's slipping back into his past addictions or if there's something more sinister at play.
Are his past addictions demon possession?
Are his past addictions being exorcised?
Yeah. Can you be addicted to that?
I just love getting possessed and then making someone get the possession out of me, get that demon out of there.
They say it's actually a great way to lose weight.
The extrication just goes really well. It's a whole body experience.
It really is. I mean, man, you talk about your mind and body. How about your mind, body, and soul? I mean, come on.
Also, can we talk about that? I think I said extrication, which I think actually is a word, extrication.
When you said that, I'm like, I've never heard that word, but I'm with you.
Yeah,
we're going for
to
it.
extricate is a verb. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway.
So yeah, that's coming out this weekend. That looks good. Russell Crowe. Man, I feel like we need to have an episode to talk about movie budgets, which might be super dull to some people, but I find them fascinating because I think we're really getting a lot of these horror movies because they're so much less expensive to make and they're just not as high of a risk. Like, it doesn't mean they don't have action scenes or stuff like that, but just like they're not this wall of CG that are hundreds of millions of dollars to make, And I think a movie like this, like they've got, Russell Crowe in it, who's I wouldn't say he's huge right now. I mean, he's a very recognizable, great actor, but it's interesting to see a lot of these horror movie trends where they'll we've talked a lot about just this slew of them, and it's like, this really isn't the season for it. But I think that a lot of people are just like, these are fun movies and they're not a huge risk,
Yeah, absolutely. So after that, we have The Bike Riders, also coming out this weekend. After a chance encounter, headstrong Kathy is drawn to Benny. Benny is a member of the Midwestern motorcycle club, the Vandals. As the club transforms into a dangerous underworld of violence, Benny must choose between Kathy and his loyalty to the club, to his homies, the boys.
This it's not a musical, but it did remind me a lot of West Side Story.
Yeah,
like just the vibe, the gangs and stuff. But it's cool. I think it's like 50s.
Yeah.
50s, 60s, somewhere in there kind of vibes, just kind of gangs, motorcycles.
Reminds me of like The Outsiders, but like when the kids grew up, like if they enter their 20s.
Yeah. I was about to start quoting The Warriors. I'm like, nope, that's not The Outsiders. That's The Warriors. So,
yeah, good distinction.
Yeah. It's the Warriors are not outsiders. The outsiders are not Warriors. So real quick, before we get into our best streaming movies, I want to talk about The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Because it's hot right now. It's going on. We've had a couple episodes. This is really interesting because I feel like this has a lot to do with movies right now as well. There's a lot of, I'll just say it too, with a show like this, there is a clear push for diversity. And I think that's great. And I think it's okay to say that. I think sometimes people are like, you shouldn't even realize that. It's like, I think it's okay, and I think it's a good thing, but there is a clear push for diversity in multiple areas for this show. And there's also this thing about Star Wars shows in general are not received well right now, but this show receives so much negative reviews from viewers. And I think it's interesting because we have a situation where last time I looked, like Rotten Tomatoes score, it was critics was like 90s, 92. Audience score was like 23. And it's just like, I think you'll see that in some movies where the ratings are so vastly different. But then you have a lot of people saying like, well, it was review bombed. Like basically a bunch of people made fake accounts and do that, which honestly, it's tough because Rotten Tomatoes is a positive or negative. Like how many people were positive, how many people were negative on this movie. It's not a 92 out of 100 quality level. It's 92% of critics like were positive in this review. But it's tough because it made me just want to disbelieve everyone. You know, it's just like a bunch of people were like, we hate it because of the diversity. Some people were like, we love it for the diversity. And then some people are like, well, it was review bombed, so a bunch of people don't like it. And I'm like, we haven't even talked about the show.
That's Heath, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking about this? Like, what did you think of the show? But like, what do you think about all this kind of going on around it?
Yeah. So as of recording, audience score is at 25%, and the critic score is a high 80s, which is still good. Like it's still great. Yeah. I love Star Wars. I don't know if you know this about me. But I don't love the fan base, which is so hard because there's some people like really putting in some good work in the fan base, like Rebel Force Radio. I feel like they're always positive. They're always talking about the good things in Star Wars, whether you like a movie or not. And I appreciate that because for some reason, the Star Wars fan base is so volatile sometimes, and I don't think it's the majority. There is a small population that is just super angry all the time, and that's probably who I think that it has a low score, audience score, because of people bombing it. That's what I've seen on the socials. But the show itself, I really enjoy. I like it. It's been a good introduction so far. Like, we still have 4 or 5 more episodes to go. I like the premise. I like that it's new. It seems fresh. People are really afraid of and have adverse reactions to things that are new ideas, new directors, new writers bring their perspectives into a project, which is why you hire them. It's for them to do that. So I'm having a blast. I think when you watch Star Wars, even if you watch something like Andor that is a little like on the darker side with rebellion and like murder and espionage and stuff, you still have to be a kid. Like,
people go missing all the time. What makes you think it was murder?
What about the people who murdered? What murder?
What murder?
He was the best guy around.
What are you quoting?
It's you don't know that?
No, I was going to say that was my shameless Hot Fuzz plug for this week. But
I was quoting
what are you quoting?
Like a TikTok sound. There's a street interview of someone who was like,
Oh,
wait, what
yes,
did you think
okay.
of Paulie? And he's like, he was the best guy around. And she goes, what about the people he murdered? What murder? You know?
I have seen that. That's great. I was like, wait a minute, what is that? That's great.
Yeah. So I like The Acolyte. I like that we can see the Jedi in their prime and not just like 2 to 5 years before their prime is up, like before it's over. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the story. Like, that's all you can ask for, really. Enjoying the setting and being interested in what they're going to say, what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah. I was going to say it's a little different. I'm someone who, like, I think Andor is probably the highest quality Star Wars TV show that's come out, but it's not my favorite just because it's not like in like a nerdy way. It's not Star Wars enough for me.
Nice.
Like, I need more lightsabers, I need more Sith, I need more Jedi. You know, it's just like, it's such a good quality show, and in the best way. I don't think it has to be a Star Wars show. It could just be like just something generic, I guess, or in modern day or whatever. So I think that's a high quality show. I would say that's the one that I don't have a ton of stipulation. Every other Star Wars TV show I do struggle with, and I love them at the same time. I just think most Star Wars properties, the story structure struggles, the writing struggles, the acting struggles in a bit, not in a terrible way. Don't watch it. I love all of it. I'm a Star Wars fan. I will show up and I will enjoy it. That's just what I like. So any of critiques I have about The Acolyte are the same critiques I would have for every other show. We're only for every Star Wars show. We're only 2 episodes in. I've only seen 2 episodes, so we've got 3 and 4 out, I think, now.
Yeah.
But I've only seen the first 2, and I'm like, yeah, I liked it. It's fun. It's weird because I feel like it shouldn't be that high of a score for critic side. I don't see that quality there, but it definitely shouldn't be that low for audience either. It's just like, why is this so much worse? I mean, if you look it up, I mean, Book of Boba Fett, which I love, don't get me wrong, to see the gauntlet hand of Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc, I've been dreaming of that. I was like, I know he's in there. I know he's going to get out. Little kid Heath was so waiting for that moment. It's not a great show. No. I just think it has a lot of struggles, like a bantha. So, but to me, like, that is like a 7.5 out of 10 on like IMDb, and it's just like Acolyte is like 3, and I'm like, that's unreasonable. Like, why is that so low? So like, I struggle because I feel like when any show right now has terrible reviews, they'll yell review bomb, but it does seem to me like this one is unreasonably low.
Yes.
So
I think
at the same time, yeah,
it is. It's not off base to say that AI and like the ability that people have now to create like phantom accounts for one person has one opinion, and they're getting credit for, I guess you could say, affecting as if 12, 15 people would have an effect. It is a little silly. We'll say that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I can't say that I'm ever swayed to watch or not to watch because of Rotten Tomatoes. So,
yeah, I think I take it as an indication, but same thing. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't take that as law for sure.
Yeah,
but so I don't know. I want to bring it up because I think it's an interesting topic right now. So be wary of big review things, but at the same time, take it all into account and make a decision. It's just like, if you like it, enjoy it, and if you hate the new Star Wars, then just don't watch it. Go watch what you love.
Yeah,
go see a movie.
Put on the Phantom Menace. Buddy.
Put on the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump right into top 5. So we are going to do top 5 streaming movies.
Yeah, straight to streaming movies.
Mm-hmm.
We're leaving the theater, Heath. We're leaving the theater.
We're leaving the theater because these are movies, but they've come straight to streaming. So yeah, let's start real quick. What is your 5?
Number 5, for me is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
It's on my list.
No way. I thought for sure that wouldn't be on your list.
Then it's higher.
So, all right.
Shut up.
I'm going to shut my mouth. Okay, what's your number
All right.
5?
My number 5 is Bandersnatch. Have you seen Bandersnatch? So it's a Black Mirror movie on Netflix, and it's interactive.
That is a good one.
I really enjoyed the movie, but it's such a cool experience. So it's basically this movie where you navigate with your like remote and you make decisions of what the
Choose
character.
your own adventure.
Yeah, it's just, especially if you like Black Mirror stuff, it's really interesting and definitely recommend it.
Wow, that's a good one, especially because it's so in your home. It's so specific to like you can only stream this. That's a good one to have on your list. I like that.
Yeah, you could only do that. You could never do that in like a theater. So
No. Yeah.
all right, let's hear your number 4.
Number 4 for me, I have Soul.
Oh, the Pixar movie?
Yeah. I watched the
Wow.
recognition slowly wash over his face.
Well, I was
Yeah.
like, that's interesting because I didn't even think about that being like there were 2 Pixar movies, right? Or 2 or 3 that went straight to
I think
streaming.
so. Yeah. Soul
All right, sweet. It's not on my list,
is-
so yeah, let's hear what you love about it.
Soul is incredible. The story's heartwarming, heartbreaking. You get goosebumps. You're crying. It's touching. The music is unbelievable. John Batiste did the music for this movie, and this is honestly, I'm surprised that the Soul soundtrack didn't make my list for top movie soundtracks. It is up there.
It's good.
It's just so gorgeous, and you can really, really tell that there's so much love for jazz and for the art of music into this movie, Soul. The story itself is fun. It's very compelling. Like, you're really interested. Very quickly, you're sold on the concept, and the music just comes alongside the story that they're trying to tell. And it's not like a side character. They like meld together beautifully. Just a really, really amazing movie. It's one of the like animated movies in the forefront of my mind that I want to show my son when he's old enough to like comprehend movies when he's not just 1-year-old.
Yeah.
So that's Soul, number 4.
Real quick, I would like to say that I had a silly thought about your son today.
Okay.
Because I went to Chili. Oh my gosh.
You
I
went to Chili's?
I went to Chili. Dude, you going to Chili's?
Welcome to Chili's.
I went to Chick-fil-A and I got a spicy chicken sandwich.
Yep.
As introduced to me by you.
Yeah.
You were like, have you ever gotten the spicy chicken sandwich? Because so we ate the sandwich when you were up here visiting. You and your wife were in town. And your wife was pregnant. And this will stick out in my brain forever. Because your wife went into labor while we were hanging out, and you had to go to take her to the hospital. So I've been eating.
Baby.
Yeah, I was gonna go have a baby. No, so August is 1 and 1 month.
Yeah, he's 13 months.
13 months. So I've been eating the spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Gosh. For about 13 months now. So there's a very distinct.
You just
I will
ask
always
August
know.
how old he is, and you'll know how long you've been mowing down on some spicy chicken from Chick-fil-A.
There's
I'm
going to
so
be a
happy
moment.
that I introduced that to you.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I went to a side story. I went to the Modern Horizons 3 pre-release. This is a Magic the Gathering thing for the listeners who did not speak this
I
language.
didn't know you went to that. That's awesome.
Dude, yeah, I went to my first pre-release Modern Horizons 3. I met 7 very cool dudes. Actually, I met 5 cool dudes. I already knew one of them. Shout out Jacob.
2 of them sucked.
And I was the other one. I was the worst. But it was very good. I tell you the story because one guy bought everyone Chick-fil-A, and I got the spicy chicken sandwich.
Oh, beautiful. That's the stuff our dreams are made out of.
It was great.
Chick-fil-A and magic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, what's your number 4?
So my number 4 is Prey.
It's higher.
Really good.
Shut
okay.
it. Close it up. Lock it up.
That's it. I'm off the pod.
See ya.
Okay, awesome. So what is your... I'm stalling because I don't have my number 3.
Well,
but...
your number... Oh, am I next? Yeah, because...
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Number
I was
3.
stalling, but I'm ready. You're number 3.
This,
Go.
Okay. This whole show is just us saying, what number, John? What is this? How do I... So,
Numbers? Math?
Number 3 is Don't Look Up for me.
It's not on my list. I haven't seen it.
Oh, terrific. Great. It was a, I think, straight to Netflix movie. Has a bunch of big names, including Leonardo DiCaprio. And I just loved the take on the effects of media, news outlets, and people who own these news sources, whether it's like articles or podcasts or news channels, and how much they control public perception. So the premise of the movie is that there's a meteor. Do you get that, Jim? Meteor. I'm sorry. There's a meteor coming to Earth, like hurtling. I know I can't unhear it.
Meteor.
There's a meteorite. How's that? Hurtling towards Earth, and it's going to wipe out all life on the planet. And there's nothing that any scientist or astronaut can do about it. And so they tell the news outlets, they're like, hey, just so everyone knows, like you should probably know, we're all going to die. And we can't change the trajectory. It's too late. We're just going to die. And the news outlets are like, hey, can you maybe give like a positive spin on it? Like, hey, cut, turn it off. Let's try that take one more time and just like try and keep it light. And it's the struggle of this character and his scientist friends who are reporting facts and saying we're all going to die and people deserve to know if that's the case or not. But the people who control the media outlets are like, no, that doesn't sell. Like that won't get more viewers though.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really interesting take on media and the effect of public perception of events, like things that are just happening. So that's my number 3.
Dude, I want to watch that. That's definitely on my watch list. You know who has a really interesting take on media is Anchorman 2. Like
that is actually the sequel to Don't Look Up, because the meteor hits, a human history resets, and everyone is born from Will Ferrell.
That's great. And then Idiocracy, I believe, is the pre-sequel. Or the requel,
yeah.
Right? The reboot sequel.
Reboot sequel. Okay, that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah. Well, no, I just think Anchorman 2 is really interesting because it talks about how like he's trying to win the ratings war basically, and he shows like a car chase, and they're like, "Go to that live car chase," and it's like they're being like funny with it. But it's like, it is a really good point. I'm like, why do we watch car chases? That's not news. We don't need to see that.
Yeah.
But it's like almost it turns real events into entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's wild.
Okay, so we'll move on. But that looks like I definitely want to see that movie. So that looks really interesting. But real quick, I want to say, is the meteorite, is that the one on the top of the cave or the bottom of the cave?
So the meteorites, the meteorites are up on the top. Those hit the North Pole. The meteor mites with an M are on the bottom. They hit the South
way
Pole.
you can think about that is McDonald's is an earthbound thing. M is
and T stands for the moon.
A drink with jam and bread. Sound of Music. It's so good. It's ethereal.
Yeah. Shout out my girl Julie Andrews.
Our queen.
Yeah.
Delightful. Okay. So now is it my number 3?
Yeah, number 3 for Heath.
I feel like you're gonna flip. You're gonna be like, I don't even know you'll never suspect this was on. Being the Ricardos.
What? I've never seen this movie.
So it's a biography, a biopic on I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Isn't that such
I'm
a
sorry,
random movie?
I'm familiar. I just never really
Yeah.
caught my attention.
Yeah, I know. It was fun. It was at this moment where me and Emma started watching. We watched the documentary about Lucille Ball, and then this movie came out, and we were like watching some of her TV shows and stuff, and it was just kind of a fun moment. And it's just like it's a really well done, kind of, biopic about her life, and it's just like they do a show, and it's just, even if it's something like if you like I Love Lucy, but even just classic TV show stuff, it's just really cool to think, or just to see some of these classic moments and how they reshoot them to like that looks exactly like the show. Like I don't know. It was a straight streaming, so that's why it's on here. I personally, if you're really into that thing, I definitely recommend the documentary more. I think that's a lot more interesting and better. But it was a really good one. I liked it.
Cool. Wow.
I don't have to defend myself. Okay.
Is that why you named your daughter Lucy's? Because of being the Ricardos?
After that, being the Ricardos. No, she's named after Lucy Pevensey from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, I knew it.
Wow. All right,
Okay.
what is your...
Am I number 2?
Yeah.
My number 2 is Glass Onion.
Also my number 2.
No way.
Yes.
Look at us matching. Okay. So I loved...
If you're only listening to this, we're actually both wearing Glass Onion t-shirts right now.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
Yeah.
Head to our YouTube channel. You can see us wearing the same exact t-shirt.
For our YouTube viewers, I'm sorry, we're just pulling on nonsensical t-shirts that have nothing to do with each other.
Glass Onion. So fun. I think there's a very necessary and good resurgence of whodunit movies, murder mysteries, and I'm here for every single one. I love them, and I think that Rian Johnson has done some of the best ones, with Glass Onion and Knives Out being the first, like the one before Glass Onion. But Glass Onion was the most fun that I had between the two. Just a really good time. Like, what more can you ask from a murder mystery? You know?
It's
what do you
so
think?
dumb. It's so dumb.
I hate that movie.
No, that's actually me quoting the movie. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I'm a fake fan.
No, it's all right. No, you're a true fan. You just have stuff in your brain, unlike me. I just have movie quotes. Yeah, same. It's a great murder mystery. I think it's original, which is cool too.
Yeah.
Like I love a good murder mystery, but it's like even like the Perot movies they were making, like, Death on the Nile and stuff, like these are existing books. So it's not like this is, new stuff. Like all these movies like Knives Out and then like Glass Onion, like they are new work. So it's cool that we're all in the same boat. We're all experiencing these together. They're funny. They're witty, well written, well acted murder mystery. Like, if that doesn't sell you on it, what will?
Daniel Craig will.
All right,
my
sweet.
number 1. Is it number 1 time?
So it is your number 1 time.
My number 1.
Wait. Yes, it is your number 1 time.
Because we shared a 2.
We shared a 2.
We went number 2 together.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2.
My number 1 is Prey, which was your number 4.
Yeah, so it was lower on my list. I really liked it, and I would just love to hear why is this your number 1?
Yeah, this is the best straight-to-streaming movie experience that I've ever had. I had watched Predator in probably 2014, 2015 for the first time ever. Shortly after that, I got into Alien and also AVP.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, that's Alien vs. Predator. There's several movies. So that whole world has been stewing in my heart and mind for many years. And I didn't even know this movie was being made. I didn't know that they were making another Predator movie. So it dropped on Hulu, and I just logged on and saw it, and I was like, oh, goodness. Okay. And I remember I like stopped. I made popcorn. I got myself a drink. I put my
Did you
pajamas
put
on.
butter and salt on that popcorn?
Yeah, my mom wasn't around, so I could butter and salt it. Actually, I was well moved out. I think I was married when this movie came out.
But your mom was like, hey, you're not putting butter on your popcorn, are you?
Yeah, she called me. She's like, I can tell that you're eating salted popcorn. My cholesterol is spiking for you. Yeah, like got myself ready. I'm sure if I had plans, I was going to abandon them to watch this movie. I watched it. I loved every second of it. Talk about approaching a well-loved topic with a low-budget crew and just a great, fun, original story. That's best case scenario for me. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's great. It's a different take because it's more like older than most Predator movies take place. And I link so much of Predator and Alien movies. They're different series, but they tie together so much, and I feel like they're just in the same vein. In like different ways, but they're just like I just think of them as the same series, to be honest, and just different aliens, different.
Yeah, they're very adjacent. They run parallel in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we're talking about horror, I would say the Alien series and like the Predator series, to be honest, it's like some of the highest quality of the old school horror. I mean, if we're talking 80s, we're talking long form horror. If we're talking Friday the 13th, Halloween, Freddy or Nightmare on Elm Street, man, Alien has so many good victories, in Predator. And I think the only one I don't love is Alien versus Predator 2.
The first one,
Requiem.
Yeah,
one.
Okay.
I think the first, I love the first one. I love it so much.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, great. All right, now for my number one.
Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll.
Which is already known, but it's Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Amazing. Sing me the song.
It is, straight to Netflix. It's an animated movie. Or no, it's stop motion, right? So it was it just visually looks so cool. And it's it's a classic Pinocchio story, but it's kind of intertwined. And I'm not a Pinocchio expert, so I'm not sure how much is actually like original thoughts. It's like, it's different than the Disney one. That's all the knowledge I have to go off of. But deals with real world stuff, and just, I don't know, it was just such a well done movie, like just a fresh air, because it was visually interesting, well written, really cool stop animation. Like, just loved it. It was just so good. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I am really into stop motion. I love the progression of stop motion through cinema history, that it was ultimately it was a way to animate large scale things, like large scale models, to make, I say large scale, a model being large scale is like maybe 4 feet. That's a big model, I think of Star Wars doing stop motion for the AT-ATs, for the Tauntauns, horror movies. If you wanted a close-up shot of your monster, but it wasn't really going to work out for you to make a costume or a puppet, then you did stop motion, like with a model of your monster. So starting with that and going this is a method that we use in live action, and how it's transformed from stuff like Wallace and Gromit. Like, I watched that claymation stop motion stuff when I was a kid, all the way into, we have serious pieces of art that are telling really good, important stories using stop motion as a means to do that. And it's beautiful. It's entertaining. There are, the cinematography does not suffer in many ways, especially in this Pinocchio movie. It shines because it's stop motion, and that's ideal in my opinion. Like, if you're going to make a stop motion movie, make it be exactly that, and don't make it be I wish this was live action and it feels like it should have been, but all we could do was stop motion stuff. Because in most regards, it's harder It's more difficult than a live action film. So I'm a big fan. Love that one.
Yeah. Definitely highly recommend. And that's the nice part about these streaming movies is most people have at least one of these services. So like, just go watch that one. You know, if you got Hulu, go watch Prey. If you've got Netflix, you've got a ton of options. You know, and if you've got Amazon Prime, go watch Being the Ricardo.
Well, now also if you have Disney Plus, I'm pretty sure you have at least some access to almost all of Hulu.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have to do the upgrade. I'm not exactly sure because I did the upgrade and it's such a good deal to have like Disney Plus, but then it has Hulu stuff on it. It's a really good deal. And then I'm imagining I'd be surprised if both of those are a platform in the next couple of years. Like,
yeah, I think they're going to make a merge.
Yeah, I think they're going to merge. Yeah.
So
Sweet.
That's what we got. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on the YouTube channel or on our Instagram page what we missed. If there's a straight to streaming movie that you think should have made the list, let us know, and we'll watch it and we'll let you know what we think. That'd be great.
That's what's kind of cool about streaming movies is it's kind of more of a little bit more of an underground thing. Like not actually, but just like, oh, not everyone's heard of that movie because it's like, oh, I don't have Hulu, so I wasn't familiar that was coming out, you know, or something like that. So I'm sure there's a lot of great movies that we can be introduced to. So show us a movie.
Show us a movie. We'll see a movie.
Beautiful. Why don't you take us home, Andrew?
Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube watching our full video show,
you saw the shirts.
We appreciate you. You saw the shirts. You saw our silly faces making jokes. You can get our podcast anywhere you get podcasts. We're very appreciative and love that you would take the time to listen. Engage with us on Instagram. Give us a follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Helps us grow. Helps us to have more fun more often, right? That's what we got. Thank you. Next week, we have our Cosmere Junkie interview. Correct, Heath?
Yes, it's going to be super fun. So he's a guy who does he's kind of like a fan page. We'll have him describe kind of what he does, but he's just a big fan of Brandon Sanderson, and he does a lot of social media stuff, does some memes. He's got a YouTube channel, the Cosmere Junkie. And so we're going to have an interview with him, and that's going to be a really great time.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, go see a movie.
Go see a movie.